Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to design the perfect camera. But listen, this isn't just some fantasy tech wish list. We're actually breaking down a blueprint from a real working cinematographer about what features make a camera a genuinely profitable tool for professionals.
So let's just jump right into this thought experiment, shall we? We're not just creating a dream camera with every bell and whistle. No, we're looking at this from a pure business perspective. What design, what features come together to create a tool that actually makes filmmakers the most money out on a job?
And this is really the key to this whole idea. The entire concept comes from someone who's in the trenches, someone shooting corporate, broadcast, and commercial work day in and day out. So the goal isn't just about having the flashiest specs. It's about building a reliable, money-making workhorse that pays for itself.
All right, first things first. You've got to start with the heart and soul of any camera, the image itself. How it's captured, how it's processed, that's the absolute foundation for creating a tool that's going to make you money.
Okay, so the perfect camera absolutely 100% needs to offer both of these options. Our cinematographer said he was immediately turned off by new cameras that only shoot in RAW. And why is that? Well, while RAW gives you incredible flexibility later on, the reality is that on like 95% of jobs, professionals need those ready-to-edit compressed files for a fast, efficient workflow. Forcing them into a slow, data-heavy RAW process, that's an immediate deal breaker.
And here's something that drives so many professionals crazy with current cameras. You might get this beautiful 6K resolution when you're shooting in RAW, but the second you switch to a compressed format for that faster workflow, bam, you're knocked down to 4K. The ideal camera, it just wouldn't have this limitation. What you get in RAW, you should get in compressed. Simple as that. And just look at how practical and purposeful these specs are. 6K at 60 frames per second? That gives you tons of room to reframe your shots in post-production. 4K at 120 gives you that beautiful, buttery smooth slow motion. And OpenGate, well, that's a modern workflow game changer.
So here's why OpenGate is such a big deal today. It lets you shoot just once and then easily crop that footage for both your traditional widescreen video and for vertical social media, like for Instagram or TikTok. Our cinematographer notes it's not an absolute make-or-break feature, but man, it is a massive time saver for anyone who has to deliver content to a bunch of different platforms.
Okay, we've got the image engine down. Now let's talk about the physical camera itself. Let's see how the body's design can make or break its usability, and even a client's confidence when you're on set. The perfect camera body has to hit that sweet spot, that kind of Goldilocks size. It's got to be small enough that you can fly it on a gimbal without it being a total nightmare, but also substantial enough that when you rig it all up with the matte box and cinema lenses, it looks and feels like a proper professional cinema camera.
And this is such a fascinating point about the business side of filmmaking. Perception really matters. You could show up to a big corporate or broadcast shoot with a tiny little mirrorless camera that shoots an incredible image, but it can actually undermine the client's confidence. A professional-looking rig inspires trust. It just does. Okay, if there's one feature that just screams professional workflow, it's built-in ND filters. They are an absolute, non-negotiable must-have. They basically act like sunglasses for your camera's sensor, and being able to control your exposure instantly with a button instead of stopping everything to screw a filter on the lens is absolutely essential for moving quickly on set. Now, this next one might seem like a small thing, but trust me, it's a huge quality of life feature. A big, bright, really clear LCD screen makes it so much easier on your eyes when you're digging through menus. And it can even mean you don't need an external monitor on a gimbal setup or when you've got a B-cam running on a slider. It's a bigger deal than you think. All right, so now we're getting into all the other things that add up to a truly professional experience. We're talking about the features that save time, prevent headaches, and just make the camera work with you on a shoot, not against you. When it comes to ports, the wish list is super clear and specific. You need full-size, durable ports that won't break. But what's really interesting here is what's considered just a nice-to-have, full-size XLR inputs. On most pro sets, you've got a dedicated sound person handling audio, so baking those bulky ports into the camera body itself just isn't a top priority.
The recording media has to be CF Express Type B, period. The speed difference is it's too huge to ignore. Our cinematographer gave a perfect example. He transferred a podcast file from a camera using a regular SD card, and it took about 10 minutes. The same exact file from a camera with a CF Express card, less than 2 minutes. That's a massive amount of time you get back, and it really adds up.
It's funny, autofocus used to be a dirty word for professionals. You would just turn it off immediately. But modern systems have gotten so unbelievably good and so reliable that they're now an essential tool. I mean, for a single operator, anyone doing gimbal work, or shooting long interviews, having autofocus you can actually trust is a total game changer.
So we've pretty much designed our perfect camera, right? We've got the image, the body, the workflow, but now we come to the final and, let's be honest, probably the most important piece of the puzzle.
And that is the price. For this camera to be the ultimate money-making machine, it needs to hit a very specific target. It has to have all of these professional features and come in under $5,000.
And that price point is everything, right? Because this isn't some unobtainable Hollywood-only camera. This is a workhorse. It's designed for that massive market of videographers who are out there shooting corporate, commercial, and broadcast content. At this price, it's an accessible investment that can pay for itself really, really quickly.
You know, building the perfect tool is just as much about knowing what to leave out. Any features that drive up the cost without adding real value to a professional video workflow, they're secondary. In-body stabilization, or IBIS, not a priority for controlled cinema shooting. A super high-end photo engine, not necessary. This is a video camera, first and foremost.
So after going through this whole blueprint, it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? If you were sitting down to build your perfect camera, what would your non-negotiable features be? The answer doesn't just reveal what you want in your gear, it kind of reveals what kind of creator you truly are.